Okay, well, welcome everybody, and very warm welcome and gratitude to Jacqueline von Arb Sensei from JuShinKan Dojo in Stavanger, Norway. We've known each other for a long time. We met in San Francisco in 2008. And I have such admiration and respect for all the good work that Jacqueline is doing with her Aikido, with her dojo, with her outreach, with her leadership, and with her practice. So really glad you're here and glad we're all here and yeah, ready to sweat. So I'm going to turn this mic over to you.
Thank you, Ryan, and I'm in such admiration right back what you've been able to accomplish, especially with these Saturday classes. Been amazing. All right, so let's start. I have two students in the dojo, so say hello. So we'll warm up first, 15-20 minutes, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the themes for today. Okay. And then since we're in Norway, we'll go skiing a little bit. And a little bit of coordination and then going up, front, side, front. Hey. Bend your knees a little bit, find your center, and let's start. And we take a little more space between the legs and move from side to side. And let the movement stop by itself. Find the center. And let everything hang down. Relax your shoulders, relax your head. And pick up the energy from the earth. Breathe in, push it to the heavens. Keep your breath and stretch. Release your breath on the way down. Breathe in, keep your breath, and exhale. One more time. Just let your arms hang. Reverse. And now just with the tailbone or the pelvis, make a small circle. Release and loosen the vertebrae at the bottom of your spine. Stand on one foot, same arm. Breathe in and out into the stretch. Breathe in, change your leg. And keep your head inside your knee. And then turn both your hands as if you were going to do it with me. Extend your upper arm. We're almost standing Kubalashi. Hands up. We do a kokyu, press the knees out and up on your toes. There's a balance exercise. And relax. Kokyu and breathe in. And relax. One more time. When doing all these stretching exercises, we want to practice our breathing. Breathe in and breathe out into the stretch. Breathe in and out. Excellent. Here, slide down to your ankle as far as you can. Switch sides. Here, make sure your knee stays on top of your toes so that you don't collapse the knee like this. We're going to talk a little bit about taking care of the knees today. And here to have this arm on the inside of your knee, give you support so that your knee doesn't collapse. Those of you who are very supple can go down, sit down, and get back up. Add to the difficulty of this. A little bit back and forth. Grab your ankles, gently push down the knees, open your hips. And lift and down a little bit. And pull yourself up one vertebrae at a time. The shoulders back in place. And make sure your head opens up in the neck. And like this. Now let's be aware of the shoulder blades opening up in the back. And then pull the shoulder blades together, open up in the front. Breathing in. Breathe out. And in. Out. And a little bit. Lift the shoulder blades, the arms come up, place them on top of the air, and drop. Feel the air resistance. Open up, place them on top of the air, and up from the front. Put your shoulder blades together, really open and press the air. Breathe in. Out. Good. A little bit down to the knee. And here, want to put the toes towards each other a little bit. So when you bend the knees go towards each other and give each other support. So for this exercise, you can make small circles and alternate with big circles. Yes. And then we open up the other way, like this. So when we bend, the knees go out. We give a bigger range of motion when we do this exercise. And then parallel feet. We lift our kneecaps a little bit. grab the back, and go down in a squat. Try to keep the heels on the ground. When we do this, I cheat a little bit. Okay. Now put your heels together again. We'll go down, and this time we lift the heels, but we keep a straight axis, the straight back, this way. All right, from this position, I'm on my axis. This axis can turn, so the knee can come down naturally. And just tap the floor a little bit. We're not going to plump onto the knee, but we rotate and place the knee lightly on the floor. Like this. Again. Down, rotate. Good. And the one on the left side. And then we get the freedom to move from there. Go back. Okay. Heads a little bit. Hilary. Mimi. Hilary. Mimi. My. Shiro. My. Shiro. Yuko Hilary. Yuko Mimi. And Momash. Spine back to our center. Both feet nicely planted. We're in the middle here. Everything. Let's shift our weight to the left side. So we free up our leg. And then we use our hands to connect to the earth. Some people say we extend energy or extend ki. But for me, this makes that I have a much better balance standing on one knee. So I rotate the knee a little bit like this. Reverse. And then I use my backbone to lift the leg and rotate. At the same time, I breathe in and out. Away. I grab my foot and drop the hip down to get a nice stretch into my thigh. And then I let go. Place the foot lightly on the tatami and then shift the weight. And remember to extend the hands, release the foot, and start rotating. This is a very good exercise for strengthening the knee and the ankle, especially on uneven surfaces, because the other knee has to compensate for the balance. And you work those little muscles around the knee joint and the ankle joint. Drop the foot and drop the hip. That side drops down. If you want, you can also test your balance and come back. Okay, that's the warm-up. So I'd like to introduce some of the themes that I'm going to use today. One of them is changing the mind a little bit about taking ukemi. So ukemi is the art of receiving a technique. But for me, when you say receiving a technique, it's quite passive. I like to think of it as giving ukemi. So I'm giving something of myself. I'm giving my energy for my partner to do a technique with. And preferably, I give the right energy so that it manifests into the technique that we're studying. Okay, so in order to give this energy, to keep that contact, I have to structure my body so that I actually can give that contact. And the contact, by contact, I mean center to center contact, not just a touch, okay? So if I just touch, nothing happens. We can move the arms and everything. But if I touch with the center and the person moves, I can follow that movement. So there's a connection there that I want to keep. So we're going to study a little bit what it takes to keep that connection and how to structure our body in order to keep that connection, no matter what Uke does when he studies his technique. So I create a supportive structure in myself that allows me to keep the contact with my partner. This is contact is very difficult to study on your own, obviously. But what we can do here is study the elements of keeping that structure in order to keep the contact. So for instance, if I do Shomenuchi Ikkyo and I go like this, with both feet planted on the floor, I cannot give the right contact here to follow my partner. It's almost impossible. So I need to restructure my body so that I can follow and absorb and keep that, that contact with my partner. That's what I mean by restructuring and finding the best position. So that flexible structure, the catwalk. Other elements is our axis. By axis, I mean, there's an axis that is vertical in my body, which I can turn around this way. But there's also an axis around the navel this way. So it's a vertical or horizontal axis, and something's turning around it. So in my body can be this axis. So if my head goes down, something else will have to go up in order to keep that balance and the structure. So head goes down, and now I can use the weight of my leg to pull my head back up, rather than bending down like this, and then having to use my back muscle to get back up. Right, so we're gonna illustrate this by the different exercises we're gonna do today. And the other thing is about going down safely on your knees. So today we're gonna look especially to Shomenuchi Ikkyo, Ikkyo Omote, and we're gonna look at the Ura version too. And then I'll talk a little bit about the difference between Omote and Ura, because it makes a difference in how we're gonna receive the technique. Okay, so for preparatory exercises, I'm gonna take the seesaw first. And do it from the side. From my knees. The pivot point will be here on the hip. So when my head goes down, my foot will come up, and I use the weight of the foot to get my head back up. So let's do this a little bit. And when we come down, also important is that I don't want my hand to be in line with my knee. The hand, the elbow, and the knee on the line makes a very wobbly structure. So I want 90 degrees. When I come down, I'm in this position, right? So I come down, and this hand stays up because that's supposedly where I give contact to my tori. So from this position, here, I'm ready to fall. This is the contact point. And down. Up. Side. So you can either slap mat or not, or just place your hand. It doesn't matter, but when it goes really fast, it's good to be able to slap the mat. Now let's do the same exercise from standing. So from standing, I supposedly have done my Ikkyo, and I need to get down now on my knee. So So I need to get it down, tip over, and down. And I can get back up the same way. Right? So we don't go down on any like this, but we want to get our feet together and place our knee and then receive the floor with 90 degrees lift. Okay, so from standing down, and try the other side as well. Good. So now we can actually look at Shomenuchi Ikkyo and different styles. I imagine there's people from different styles here. They will receive differently. But for this purpose, I'll use what we use for the beginners when they learn Shomenuchi Ikkyo. See. I am Tori now. I receive, me. I get the elbow down. I enter into my partner, and I go out again. So there's this Z effect that beginners learn. Shomenuchi, down, I put the shoulder down, enter, and out again. Okay, so you keep that in mind, or you use your own version of Shomenuchi Ikkyo. But what we're going to do here is we study the uke part. So I attack now. Boom. My partner goes behind me. He gets my elbow and down. Now, like we've seen before, I can't stay in this position because I have no way of giving any good contact. So I change. And now I activate the second hand. This is also a weapon. If Tori is too close, I can do something with this hand. But at the same time, it's my defense because once he puts the shoulder down, push into me, this hand will be ready to take the floor. Again, Shomenuchi. And turn around. The shoulder is brought down. He enters into me, so I have to go down. He doesn't go any further, so he has to go that way and reach it to the floor. Right? So one more time. And put up my shoulder. So when I'm in this position, I'm very strong with my shoulder. We want to control, or Tori wants to control the shoulder. Now, like this. Now I can push into me. I receive, and I put down like this. So please try this a few times on your own. Now have a look. So remember your second hand, where you place your second hand, ready to touch Tori on his stomach, or ready to catch the floor when you come down. Right. Great. That's pretty good. Okay, I'll add one thing. I saw Brian was doing this, and it's a little bit more advanced. So when I take this, look at me here, and put down here, shoulder goes down, and put down here. Sometimes this structure is not strong enough. But I'm pushed over anyway. I don't want to collapse like this because then my key is going this way and I have no way to push back. So when I'm in this position here, and this happens where I lose the balance, I place my foot there, and now I can push back and come back up. So this is a little bit more athletic, but there's a reason why we do this. There's one sensei that asked me, this is just a style, you're trying to look cool. I said, no, actually, I'm trying to push back and give my tori the contact, keep the contact at all costs. So I'm here, you push me, and I can push back and actually reverse the technique if he makes any mistake. Would you like to try that, please? For this one, you really need to push your stomach forward. Yeah. Nice. Okay, you're thinking what the tori is doing to shoulder. They say ikkyo is the control of the elbow, but why do you control the elbow if it's not to control the shoulder and the shoulder to control the center? Just while you're doing it. I mean, excellent. Good. So that was omote, and we can use this both for omote ikkyo and nikyo. The difference will be whether this arm will be pinned up or to the floor. So we're now going to do the nikyo omote. We'll skip that one gallantly. So I said I was going to talk a little bit about the difference between omote and ura. If you remember, I was explaining that if I'm tori, I go there down here, put the shoulder down, and I enter into the space of my uke, who's down here, going like this. I enter the space. So for me, I've got this from the young Nevelius Sensei, omote, sorry, here. My uke is there. I enter into this space and displace him, and then control him to the ground. For ura, it's a different concept. We usually talk about ura being the back technique done in the back of uke. Actually, Jan Nevelius explains it that I am giving my place as tori to uke, right? So I'll illustrate this by doing ura. With down here. Now I'm here, uke is there, and I want to do ura. So when I do the tenkan, I move away from my space, and uke will move into that space. So I'm giving my place to uke. And this is something important to remember when when you're practicing ura, because the movement will be different. You're heading into a different direction, right? So we'll do a preparatory exercise first. For the ura, I'm going to be going one way or the other. It's not going straight again. So when I'm going down to this position, instead of going straight like this time I'm going to put my shoulder same side to the ground. So I got my right knee on the line, my left hand is going to support, and the shoulder is going to go to the ground. Now my leg's still up because I needed to get back up, if I can get back up. So here, up, and down. So for omote, this hand will be here. For ura, the opposite hand and the shoulder will be going down. There's also a rotation, but first we're gonna practice this, putting the shoulder down, because that's not an easy thing. So here, opposite hand, give support on the shoulder. Boom, here. We'll try this a few times. I'm gonna change side here. So boom. It's the same shoulder as the forward knee. Yeah, that's right, Brian. All right, good. So now you got the concept. So we'll turn it into a ura. And I think everybody has seen this exercise. How do we do this? You can do this with your bottle or toilet paper. I think toilet paper is a bit too light, so I am using a heavy iron bowl. That works really good. Or you can use your bottle also in this manner. And just let it go all the way around, down. Okay, everybody knows that, so we don't need to practice it too much. What we're gonna do differently now, if I start on my line, I'm gonna do a ura, meaning I am facing this way now, and I'm gonna take my uke that way. So I start with this here. When I get to this position, I imagine that my tori does a tenkan, so I need to follow. So I finish 180 degrees from where I started. So here, and I rotate around the front knee, and go down the pin. Okay, I'll show from the other side. Here, my tori takes 10 counts, so I need to follow down like this. So from this perspective, those are, please try. Ikkyo ura ukemi. You pivot around your front knee, and you put the shoulder that's holding the bottles goes down to the floor. So remember, you're going to be facing, your head's going to be facing 180 degrees from where you started. That's good, Craig. Good. Okay, so this was Suriwaza, Shomanuchi Ikkyo Ura. Now we're going to try from standing. And from standing, we have to get from standing into the kneeling position. And that's a little bit tricky. Not too tricky. We have the same beginning as in Ikkyo here. But now, Tori is going to do their tenkan and I follow. From here, I would like to put the knee together and I pivot down into 180-degree pivot. Right? So I'm facing this way and I end up that way. Here, I'm ready to go backwards. I pull my back foot up. I pivot down to the knee and place my shoulder to the ground. Happens when we go a little bit too fast. Okay, I'll stop you a little bit and we'll go back one step. Because more often than not, when we do, or when beginners do this, and they have to go that way, the back leg goes across like this. First of all, that's not good for the front knee because it gets rotated again. For the other, when I fall this way, my bum is going to take my energy this way. I'm going to go line with it. It's going to be very difficult to keep the contact with my, okay, so if I go like this and my back leg swings around, the centrifugal force will push my body that way. So what I want to do in any pivots is to bring my feet on the axis. So even if I'm turned here, I pivot on the axis. And it's my inner knee that comes down and then the shoulder. So feet together, and as I go down, I pivot, place my knee on the floor, and then the shoulder. So try this. It's a little bit different than what you're used to, especially going down with the inner knee. But try, please. Tight those up. That's right, Lyly. Amen. So we're going, I mean, the time is going faster than I wanted to go. I'll just show you that the same principle can be applied to Nikkyo and Sankyo. With Nikkyo, I'll show you with a chair that can actually do a tenkan. So you can imagine my partner is here. This is my partner doing Nikkyo on me. So the Nikkyo will be down to the shoulder, and then my partner can do the tenkan going this way, right? So on the line. So I attack, coming down, putting the Nikkyo on, so I'm under here. My second hand will attack the knee, which makes my partner go tenkan, and then he has my elbow going this way. Puts on the lock. So here we can really see that our partner in Ura gives us his space. Oh. So this is to illustrate how you could be working on Nikkyo Ura with or without a chair partner. But just to illustrate that he's giving away his space for me to come down safely. For Sankyo, you'll see that it's even more important to come on this axis here in order to pivot into the Sankyo spiral that comes down. And I'm talking about Sankyo Ura. So here, I'm being brought into Sankyo. I'm already on a spiral, on an axis, sorry, and I can pivot. I'm wobbly. So my partner uses this to start the spiral down. And yes, Sankyo lock. Right? Boom. Here, goes behind. So what I show for Ikkyo, the principle of using Ikkyo and giving your back to your partner, there's a reason why we give our back to the partner. Well, for one thing, he's got our elbow. For the other, I want to keep the contact with my partner. So I have to move my body so that I can keep that contact pushing that way. So bring my foot up and I can follow very well down. And from this position, even if he makes a mistake, I can come back up. But if I go down, collapse, it will be very difficult to get back up. So this is one way, pedagogic model on how to study Ikkyo, the uke part of Ikkyo on your own. Good? Okay. So we'll move on to contact work. This is what Brian asked me specifically to do. How to work with contact when you don't have a partner. So I go back to what Ariga Sensei always starts his practices with this one exercise where he places his hands on top of uke and just drops the arms. And of course, uke is there, supporting the arms, and the arms become heavy, and we go down. And then the pressure is released, and I can come back up. So, like this. So this makes me think that, and many senseis say, I mean, just relax the arm. It's the weight of the arm that's supposed to do the technique. What is the weight of an arm? Let's say this is an arm. The weight of the arm is this, right? So when we're standing like this, we're supporting the arm of Tori. It's about the weight of an arm that's completely relaxed. And I'm trying to keep the arm up, because if I don't, this arm will smack me in the face. So if this arm goes up, I follow up. If this arm goes down, I follow down. You follow me? Okay, so everybody takes their bubble. We'll start from this, this position. And here, I have the second hand countering the weight a little bit. And I can flex a little bit back and forth, right? And then I can imagine that I flex forward, forward, forward. Oh, I can't go anymore, so I need to lift my back leg. And if it goes even more, I need to take a step. Should I go a little bit further? So, I'm in this position and support the arm. I can go a little bit back and forth. Here. I get hyperextended. Of course, my weight's on the front foot, so I need to counterbalance it. It goes too far. I need to walk like a cat, trying to not disturb the contact. So I'll extend and walk like a cat, maybe walk back. So the advantage of a bubble is that I used to do this with a bowl and still do. But the advanced part of this is the bubble, because the bubble inside is a bit alive. So it's more alive than an inanimate object. So if I plump too far, it will take me along. So I don't want to disturb the water too much. So I go with it and try to keep my eye. Now we did the going forward, and now we can do the going backwards. The going backwards, bubble will come to me. But if the bubble comes to me on the side, I can just turn with the bubble. Actually, the bubble or the arm comes to my center, which rotates my elbow into me. Now, of course, Tori is too close to me, so I have to adjust my distance. Okay, the bubble comes to me, elbow first. I absorb until I have to move. Right, so try that. Change the arm. You can overextend. Take 2 small steps. And then the bubble comes back, elbow first, absorb. And again, forward, backward. Okay, please keep trying. Let me see what it looks like. Ah, excellent. Excellent. Good. All right, take a small break. And then you remember what I said about the seesaw? This seesaw effect. We'll go back to showing Tori a little bit. So Tori has the hand. Okay, I'll take my bow because it's easy to say, to show. Tori has the hand on Uke's arm, and the way Tori moves is usually use his hip back and forth like this. So you see the balls moving this way, or I can bring the ball down by letting up a little bit and creating a wave. To move Uke backwards, or I can let up. Here. So imagine now, this is Tori. Now, okay. Okay, so he's moving horizontally back and forth. And then lifts a little bit, but then puts the weight down. The weight goes down. So I need to move my leg, and from this position I can get back up. So both horizontal, go backwards, and then down. Let's try this. And down. For those of you who have been training with Endo Sensei, it feels like a wave. So this is and then come back. Up. It's a small lift, and like a wave. If it pushes straight into me, I can resist. If it lifts a little bit, I get Good. So the next one, we've done the horizontal one here, and followed back around the circle. We're then pushing down and coming back up. And then we have the one where Uki completely releases. And since I have the intention of giving to my Tori, is standing right there, I do this when it releases. But I can't stand here because with both my feet planted on the ground, because then I lose the contact from center to center. So when he releases and this hand goes up, my back foot follows. Okay, there, down, and all the way down, up. Back foot comes up, back to neutral, front foot comes back, down, up. So try this, and then we'll go on from there. Excellent. Good. So these are the the basics of following this contact approach. Thinking of it as giving. So I give contact. I'll make it with a button so it's more. I give this contact here. And this contact should actually be going to Tori's face or center. And since he's over here, then my intention should be this. Okay, so if he lets up, and I'd like you to follow my feet. So Shomanuchi, I get to this position, it brings me back down, brings me back up. Then from this point, he does Iriminage. So a different way of doing Iriminage. So here, all the way up, I'm on a pivot point. He brings me on this side. Now I go with the inside foot. So the foot that is closest to my partner will be going out. And I'll do this seesaw, come back up, and here's my Iriminage. here, boom. Here. This is again the same point as with Iki-Ura. Many times the beginners, when they are in this position, they're being thrown back this way. The back leg will go like this. It's very natural. Everybody learns it like this. But I'd like people to come up on an axis, because from here I can rotate either way. Maybe I'll rotate this way, touch his head and reverse. Or I'm being thrown down. But now I have the choice to go down with this leg rather than this leg. We come back up. Inside leg goes down. And from this position, I can come back up, grab the arm, pull him out, or he does eating it again. Grab him again. Boom. Here. This way. Nice, Greg. Hey, yeah, there's never enough time. But here, I just like to show you one little bit more. And it's the place where you can use these principles in a situation where somebody really throws you down forcefully in this iriminage. We see it sometimes in the French Aikido with Christian Tissier and his disciples, where he goes behind and grabs the shoulders and brings them down. And this is exactly the progression where you learn how to do this kind of ukimi. So if it goes, okay. If it goes really fast, boom, you brought up to here, and then back up. So boom, here, I go down on my knees. This back leg swings back up, and I can drag or I'm from behind. So it's just to show you that the progression can go on beyond what we've looked through today. So this is what I have to propose to you today. It's an introduction, of course. I hope it'll give you some ideas on, pick some points and some ideas that can really help you to practice the elements of being a good uke. Okay, so thank you very much. I'll finish formally. And then I'd appreciate if those of you who have time, hang around a little bit, have a little question and answer if Brian allows after. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.